It was supposed to be another headline, another milestone in a career already dripping with records, broken barriers, and packed-out arenas. Caitlin Clark had just inked a deal that would make history. A $25 million monster contract with Nike. The kind of arrangement that shuts down boardrooms and sends shockwaves across every corner of the sports world. But what nobody saw coming was that this arrangement wasn't actually about Caitlin at all. This wasn't simply another sneaker announcement. This wasn't your average PR stunt or a showy commercial drop. This was a power move with purpose, precision, and emotion. Because while everyone was fixated over the cash signs and the signature shoe stories, Caitlin Clark had something else developing. A strategy that would revolutionize how deals are done, how teammates are acknowledged, and how loyalty is rewarded in a league that often forgets what it means to stand by your people. She was about to drop the biggest assist of her career, and not one person saw it coming. As cameras flash and analysts race for takes, Caitlin remained placid, unbothered, unconcerned by the bustle she generated. Because she knew the true narrative hadn't even started yet. This wasn't about hype. It was about legacy. And the moment that legacy began wasn't when she signed the contract. It was what she did once the ink dried that left the whole WNBA astonished. You see, this wasn't a buzzer beater. It was a chess move. Cold, calculated, emotional. Clark didn't merely smash records. She breached the unstated conventions. In a world where amateurs are supposed to wait their turn, keep their head down, and play nice with corporate giants, Caitlin stared Nike dead in the eye and added, "I'm bringing someone with me." And that's when the storm began to build. It was a calm night in Indianapolis when it happened. Nike had prepared what felt like a low-key celebration, a modest rollout of Caitlin's landmark contract. The room was crammed with executives, photographers, and the usual corporate pomp. But sitting blissfully near the back, ignorant of the massive wave about to sweep into her life, was Sophie Cunningham. Caitlin had greeted her like it was nothing. No clue, no warning, simply come through. The lights dimmed, the projector fired up, and what unfolded on the screen was a cinematic tribute to Caitlin's journey. Her days dominating in Iowa. The roar, the hate, the sold-out games, the bruises, the buzzer beaters. But beneath it all was a pulse, a heartbeat that said, "This story isn't just about me." Then came the moment that stunned the room. Nike gifted Caitlin a gold-stitched jersey, a symbol of eternity. But instead of sliding it on, she halted. She turned slowly, silently, and with the weight of the league watching, she looked at Sophie and whispered, "This isn't just for me. This is for every woman who shows up, fights hard, and protects her team." You could have heard a pin drop. This wasn't a soundbite. This was a seismic revolution in sports culture. Every player in that room felt it in their chest. Every executive instantly knew this wasn't simply another deal. This was a declaration. And then it became much louder without a word. In a glass case at the front of the room sat a mystery box. Caitlin stepped up, opened it, and pulled out something no one had seen before. A customized Sophie Cunningham Player Edition Nike sneaker Indiana Fever colors. The slogan "No Backing Down" stitched prominently on the heel. The crowd gasped, but Caitlin wasn't done. Tucked within the box was a contract, an actual binding official Nike sub. Caitlin had negotiated it herself. She didn't merely thank Sophie with words. She handed her a seat at the table. This was unheard of. In a league where athletes battle for every minute, every deal, every ounce of spotlight, Caitlin Clark shared hers. No headlines, no leaks, just pure unadulterated thanks. Sophie Cunningham wasn't just a teammate anymore. She was Nike family because Caitlin wanted it. This wasn't a favor. This was power wielded brilliantly. And let's be clear, this didn't happen in a vacuum. From the moment Caitlin entered the league, it wasn't cheer she was met with. It was chaos. Physical hits, online slander, passive-aggressive interviews, Angel Ree, DJ I. Carrington. Every week was a new headline, a new shove, a new bullseye on her back. But while the refs swallowed their whistles and others stood hushed, one player kept coming up. Sophie Cunningham. Sophie didn't ask for credit. She didn't post about it. She didn't go on chat shows. She merely completed the assignment. She absorbed the heavy fouls. She got in people's faces. She stood up as Caitlin was struck down. She wasn't attempting to go viral. She was trying to defend her team. Caitlin observed, and she recalled when it was her moment to shine. She didn't forget who stood in the fire with her. It was a statement, and it rang out louder than any endorsement ever could. And you want to talk about reactions? The locker room was shattered. Alyssa Thomas, one of the WNBA's most known vets, was recorded telling colleagues, "She just gave Sophie the type of shine most of us never experience in our whole lives." This wasn't staged. This wasn't PR. This was real. For the first time, players saw a star use her influence for someone else, and the impact was immediate. Rookies started asking other questions. Veterans took a close look at what legacy actually meant. The Fever's entire locker room began walking differently, higher, tighter. And Nike, they didn't simply accept the move, they exacerbated it. What began as a Caitlyn transaction was now a campaign based on devotion, togetherness, and real emotion. And let's not forget, this revolutionized how deals got done. Caitlyn didn't only drag Sophie into her circle. She launched her. For the first time in WNBA history, a player would release her own signature shoe owing of another player's deal. That's historic. That's unprecedented. And it's not only a win for Sophie. It's a message to every overlooked bruise and forgotten grinder in the league. Someone notices you. The no backing down PE sneaker isn't merely footwear. It's a sign, a battle cry. And when it drops, you better know it'll be gone in seconds. Not just because fans enjoy Sophie, but because they love what it means. In a league normally steeped in politics and bad calls, this sneaker is a beam of clarity, a moment of truth stitched within every step. But Caitlyn's vision didn't stop there. While the cameras were focused on the sneakers, Clark was already developing something far larger behind the scenes. A mentorship effort for ladies in underfunded communities. Nor a gift, nor a pop-up camp. A sustainable program. One that delivers clinics, gear, and actual WNBA players, including herself and Sophie, right to the girls who need it most. Real labor, real access, actual influence. No filters, no corporate gloss. Just Caitlyn showing up where it counts. She's taking the very authority she acquired and planting it in the next generation. That's not charity. It's legacy. That's not influence. It's transformation. And in a league still striving for respect, that's how you alter the narrative from underdog to architect. And if you feel this was a one-off, think again. Nike is already leaning all the way in. Built for each other campaigns, loyalty-themed commercial spots, behind-scenes vlogs, a merch line with importance. This isn't about selling shoes anymore. This is about selling truth, selling sisterhood, and selling a vision for what women's sports could become when ego takes a back seat to empathy. Because in a world flooded in brand relationships that imply nothing, Caitlyn Clark just established one that meant everything. She collected $25 a million and used it to transfer the mic to someone else. She gazed across the table at a billion-dollar company and stated, "I'm not doing this alone." And Nike, to their credit, didn't just agree. They reinforced it because loyalty sells, because authenticity is uncommon. And since Caitlyn Clark isn't merely playing the game, she's rewriting the rules. So when people ask why Sophie, the answer is obvious. Because while everyone else turned away, she stepped in, and now the world can't look away. Sophie Cunningham didn't beg for the spotlight. Caitlyn Clark pulled the attention to her, and in doing so produced a moment that every athlete, every spectator, and every future star will never forget. This wasn't only a business play. It was a culture reset. Caitlyn Clark didn't show her power by taking more. She flexed it by giving more. In a league that's still battling and clawing for recognition, for respect, for equal footing, Caitlyn sent a statement that will resonate for ages. She didn't need to dominate a stat sheet that night. She controlled the story. And in doing so, she broke every old school notion of what leadership in women's sports looks like. Because this is what the WNBA has always deserved. Times where the work gets rewarded, where devotion isn't punished, and where the athletes who endure bruises in quiet are ultimately carried to the head of the line. Sophie wasn't a news grabber. She wasn't pursuing magazine covers. She was merely performing the dirty labor that holds teams together. Caitlyn Clark's quiet but powerful gesture to uplift a teammate without cameras or campaigns has sparked a genuine ripple effect across the WNBA, inspiring players, shifting locker room conversations, and showing that true leadership is about lifting others. Nike embraced her bold vision, turning it into the Built for Each Other campaign. Not to sell shoes, but to sell substance, with real mentorship, clinics, and impact. The movement has captured fans, brands, and agents alike, proving that success is measured not by individual wins, but by how many people you bring with you. And it all began with her simple declaration, "I'm not doing this alone."